In 1939, a man named Dr. Wendell Johnson stood in the hallways of the Soldiers and Sailors Orphans Home in Davenport, Iowa, holding a clipboard that would effectively end the childhoods of 22 orphans. Johnson was a speech pathologist who believed that stuttering wasn't a biological malfunction, but a psychological one, a learned defect created by the fear of speaking incorrectly. To prove this, he decided to create stutters where none existed. He divided the orphans into two groups. Group A consisted of children who already had slight speech impediments. Group B consisted of 10 children who spoke perfectly, with no traces of a stutter. These children were then handed over to his graduate student, Mary Tudor, who was instructed to treat them with a cold, calculated psychological pressure that the medical community would later call the monster study. For Group B, the normal speakers, the air in the orphanage became toxic. Tudor sat them down individually and looked them in the eye with the authority of a goddess. She told them, with absolute certainty, that they were beginning to show signs of a stutter. She told them their speech was shameful, that they must never speak unless they could do it perfectly, and that they should be embarrassed by the sounds coming out of their mouths. The orphanage staff were recruited as accomplices. Every time one of these children spoke, they were interrupted. They were told to fix it. They were shamed in front of their peers for a disability they didn't actually have. The psychological collapse was rapid. The children didn't become physical stutterers in the traditional sense. They became silent. They developed a condition called logophobia, the morbid fear of words. 5-year-old Mary Nixon, who had been a social and talkative child, stopped speaking entirely. When forced to answer questions, she would simply snap her fingers or cover her face. Another child, Hazel Potter, became so paralyzed by anxiety that she developed physical tics, stomping her feet and trembling whenever she was asked to read aloud. They were being rewired. The constant labeling of their behavior as broken had forced their brains to treat every sentence like a walk through a minefield. Even as it became clear that the experiment was destroying the children's ability to function, Johnson and Tudor did not stop. They continued the therapy for months, meticulously documenting the descent of healthy children into elective mutism and chronic anxiety. When the study ended, the researchers simply left. They offered no deprogramming, no apology, and no explanation. They left the orphans in the Iowa countryside to deal with the permanent scars of a manufactured trauma. The University of Iowa kept the results of the monster study buried for over 60 years. It was hidden not because the data was bad, but because the ethics were indefensible. Johnson's colleagues whispered that the study looked too much like the human experimentation occurring in Nazi Germany. It wasn't until 2001 that the full scope of the study was revealed to the public, leading to a multi-million-dollar settlement for the few surviving orphans who had spent their entire lives